think the whole point of this writing thing and what writers attempt to do is to try and make sense out of the chaos that we see in the world. And that's what I'm attempting to do. And hopefully, if people like it, continue to buy my books and get my whole collection and, never let me go. Chapter 1. Another distilled morning. The sun is rising over the red clay earth, and my eyes are damned by the light piercing through the branches of the dogwood. The slender, crooked tree with leaves like crucifixes, once white, now red and on fire. Autumn has come. I roll over on my side and cough, my throat raspy and dry. The nights are getting too cool for sleeping outdoors. Every part of my body is sore and stiff. I investigate a tender spot on my lower back, and the indention of sharp stone is left. The sleeping bag is frayed. The insulation protrudes from tattered holes. I might as well have slept on the bare ground. Inside is where I should be. I look toward the abandoned house in the distance. I get to my feet, roll up the sleeping bag, and begin making my way toward it. What a mess I am, sleeping next to my grandfather's grave like some pitifully hopeless mutt longing for his dead master. By now my grandfather's dried bones and what's left of a cheap suit. And if I don't take better care of myself, I may be right there with him. Caskets buried next to each other, the last of the bloodline. I run my hand around my waist, feeling for my hip bones that push through my pants, a pair of filthy cargoes that hang sloppily despite my efforts to keep them up with a belt. I'm wasting away. It's the thinnest I've ever been, even thinner than I was in prison. I pass the black pond, shallow and egg-shaped. A small island of tall grass and brush is well placed in the water's center. Stork-like birds and water badgers lie in wait for catfish and trout that dance just below the water's surface. I think about grabbing my rod from the garage and doing some fishing for dinner. An opportune time. The fish are feasting on dragonflies and beetles, but I'm cold and much too hungry. My breakfast awaits, a bowl of green tomatoes and wild berries, the only things that continue to grow despite my neglect. My stomach growls as I walk up the 4 steps to the wraparound porch and reach for the front door to the small red brick house. Then, with the door's knob slightly turned and my body poised to enter, the land undoubtedly calls to me. First there's a gentle rustling in the brush, then a violent shuddering in the distance like the roar of a strong wind, followed by the swaying of the treetops and the clamor of blackbirds, all vying for my attention, demanding that I admire the splendor, the scope. Gazing out, acres upon acres of patchy green, brush, and dense woods, it's a faint but palpable reminder that I don't matter. I'm insignificant and life can and will go on without me. And I'm left with a permanent notion that this is my last chance. If I'm to fail here, there's no place else for me to go. There's simply no more land left.